Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Super excited for the stream tonight. Happy Global Hack Week. We're going to wait for more people to trickle in, and then we will get started. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Hi. Okay, so I want to know tonight, we can start by asking or finding out like where everybody is from. So like where are you joining us from tonight? So I'm from California, or I guess I'm from Maryland, but I'm in California, which is where I'm streaming from. It's kind of crazy, saying out loud. But yeah, where is everybody from? Or where's everybody joining from? So I'm seeing India. Where else? Don't be shy. You can put it in the chat. Okay. Well, with that being said, though, how many people here, just show of hands, were at the part one of this session yesterday? How many people were here? I'm curious to know. Oh, New Jersey. Oh, how cool. How fun. So it's probably a little bit, I guess it's kind of like evening over there. It's like 9 p.m. All right. In the meantime, I guess it's good to know where everybody's from, people who are joining. As more people come in, we'll, kind of catch them up and figure out where, people are and stuff. I did have one more question to know, or like some questions to kind of see what the audience is like this evening. So I'm curious to hear how many people here were at the session from yesterday evening. If there's anybody at all that's here from yesterday evening. So I can know if I need to recap or if I need to, provide context and all that fun stuff. It's really just to know. Okay, so we have one person that was here yesterday, but everybody else, I'm assuming, is literally brand new. Okay, two people. Okay, good to know. Okay, so two people are here from yesterday, but the more people, it seems like, where are not here from yesterday, and they're probably looking at this like this is very brand new. It seems like. Oh, okay, so about three people. Good to know. Okay. So I'm gonna assume that the remainder of the people who did not, like, who are not those three people, they are coming to this session for the first time, or even just learning about this for the first time. So I'm going to provide context and kind of move with that in mind so that we can be able to catch people up. Another question I wanted to know was, how many people here have ever built their own API before? Like, just show of, just you can just put something in the chat. I'm just curious to know. So again, right, I can know how much context to provide and how much to not to, if we have like a lot of experts in the group or if we actually have a lot of like brand new people. So I'm really curious, how many people here have built an API before? It doesn't have to be in Java, or actually you can tell me. You can tell me if it's in Java or if it's with Python or another language, if you've built your own API before. I see. So I'm getting some answers in the chat. I see somebody says, I've never built an API. That's good to know. Okay, so we have some beginners with us, and we have an expert that does develop APIs in JavaScript. Good to know. Very good to know, actually. And then we have another person that says I have, but not in Java. That's good to know. Okay. So it doesn't look like we have people. I have not built an API. So we have a lot of beginners to Java with APIs. And we have some experts that like know a lot about APIs, maybe in general. Okay. That's really good to know. We can move accordingly. Okay. So in that case, this is really good to know. Because there are people who said that they weren't here yesterday, I'm going to give a little recap of what we talked about yesterday. And then we'll probably take a quick intermission, and then we will move on and actually get to today's session of building. So let's go ahead and let's kind of talk about what we talked about yesterday. Oh, hi. Hello. I'm going to actually share two links. So first, I'm going to share the Google Doc that we were using to plan, but actually, I'm going to also share the checking link for this specific session so that you can be able to, get points for attending this, or like be able to get credit for attending. So I'm going to paste this in the chat for everybody. So check in here if you haven't already. And I'm going to show it so that you can be able to go to that link to check in. Go ahead and check in. It's really important, or at least like if it's important in the sense of, like, you get to have credit for the fact that you attended this session, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing. As part of Global Hack Week, you're able to get access to, like, cool, fun swag just for attending different sessions, different challenges here and there. And if you check in on there, it's able to track it on the back end that, like, you came to this session. So definitely do that. Another link that I'm going to go ahead and share is the planning document. I'm going to share this. So hopefully you have the check-in link. So I'm going to do planning doc. And then I'm going to, we have some new hellos. Okay, so we have somebody else saying hello, and then we have Adam saying hi again. Hi again. Good luck with your university essay. Good luck. Okay. And then this is the planning document that we're going to use to strategize and to also recap what we had done yesterday before we start writing code. All right. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Share screen. Okay. So let's go back here. Go back here. Go back here. Okay. So let me just get the link. Oh, the link for this. Control C. And then go here. All right, cool. Okay, so you all should be able to see my screen and be able to see this like planning doc. And so we're going to go ahead and provide some just like a little quick recap of what we talked about yesterday, because a lot of you are new here, and maybe talk a little bit more about APIs before we start building and actually writing code. The same brick wall as yesterday, no variation. Let me see. Can I change my virtual background? I don't think I can. Edit name, edit audio avatar. Oh, maybe settings. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh, wait, but this kind of washes me out, I think. This also kind of washes me out a little bit. Let's see. This could work, kind of. Okay. Oh, and you can probably see that I'm changing it on screen. Haha, that's very funny. My bulldozer is coming down to knock the brick wall. Well, it did, because now the brick wall's gone. It's gone. It's absolutely gone. Okay. So I'm gonna remove this and we'll go ahead and talk about our recap. So for those of you who this is your first session, so you weren't here yesterday, so you don't have context, I'm gonna give you some background. So the idea of this two-part session is we're going to be building an API together. And because it's Global Hack Week social good, we're going to be building something that's going to allow you to find, to manage, and to keep track of causes and issues that you personally care about using Java, right? So like a lot of you were saying that like, yeah, you're familiar with using Java, but like, or sorry, with APIs, but maybe not with Java. Or like some people who said they are familiar with using APIs with JavaScript, with a different language, but not Java specifically. So the goal really this evening is to go away knowing how to do that and basically how to build something like that. We might not get to finish the entire API, but that's okay, right? Hopefully you have the building blocks to be able to know how to build build onto it, but also to be able to like figure out how to do some research to find the answers to questions that you might need when you do decide to build on top of it. With that being said, that's the idea, right? That's the prompt, that's what we're building, and this is our planning doc. So I'm going to walk you through what we came up with for a strategy, and then you can basically see how we're going to translate all of this into code. In the meantime, if you have any questions at all about anything, feel free to put it in the chat. If you have anything that's like, like, oh, I don't know how did you come up with that? Or like, does that make sense? Just ask the question and I'll answer. Okay, so the basic idea, I've talked about the prompt, right? But I'm going to repeat it again. It's that like, as a user of this API, I should be able to find causes that I care about. I should be able to manage them by adding them or saving them or just liking them. But also I need to be able to keep track of them so I can be notified if there's any new updates or something is changing. And so with that being said, there are two types of users on this API, people who can be able to, call us for data. There can be like a regular user, right? Just like a regular person that's just looking and trying to manage stuff. And then an admin that's like a super user. And with the admin, they're able to go in and like tweak things and change things. And we'll talk about that in a second. But with the regular user, the basic idea is that like you can be able to see causes and then see like nonprofits that are associated with them. So for example, like if you have animal rights or racism or like, women's rights or children's rights or literally anything that's like a cause, we have like all these nonprofits that you can be able to see that are attached to it, right? And then in addition to that too, right, if you're a user, you also have like a name, you have a location, you have, the causes that you've liked in the past, etc. And then with that being said, though, the types of things that you can do as a regular user, you can make post requests. And again, if anything seems confusing or you don't understand what I'm talking about, feel free to ask for clarification. I'm happy to stop and provide that for you. But you can make post requests to update like the list of nonprofit objects that are associated with a cause, right? If you're like, okay, X nonprofit is no longer associated with animal rights, I know this, like this is not true anymore. You can make a post request to delete it, or you can make a post request to add it, right? If you have like, oh, this nonprofit definitely does like animal rights work, let's add them to the list. You can make a post request, but you can also do a post request for a new cause to the database. And like maybe a super user is going to have to approve it. We're not sure yet, but you can do that part, right? And another part that you can do is you can submit GET requests. So you can say like, give me all my causes that I like, or give me all the causes that exist, period, or like, give me all the nonprofits that exist under a specific cause. And so that's the basic idea of what a regular user can do with this API. But then on the other side of like an admin or a super user, what you can do is you can control the causes. So like you can basically send post requests to update the nonprofits itself, just like how regular people can do, but like the details associated with them. So like address or like a donation link or like the name of the nonprofit has changed, or like if you want to delete a nonprofit or something like that, or like move a nonprofit to a different cause, you can do that with the API as an admin or a super user. Another thing that you can do that's really cool, or like that we kind of strategize about, is you can do get requests as a super user of giving you all the causes that you edited, or like all the causes that exist, period, or all the nonprofits that exist under a specific cause. And then some things that we put as like nice to have are just like the number of likes that a cause gets per day. Maybe we could be able to like tally it just to know like the number one cause in America that like a lot of people are donating to, which, yeah, you can definitely abuse it, but it could be interesting to collect that data, because ultimately we're just an API, right? We're just something that is sitting between a front end client or like an app client and the database. And our goal is to be able to control access to the database by allowing people to go through our API. And so if a client is like, it would be nice to have this amount of detail, then it wouldn't make sense for us to add that functionality to our API, so it can just make calls to it, right? And so that's the basic idea of what we came up with. And then before I talk about the classes, I'm gonna check to see if there are any questions that anybody has so far. This is cool. Yeah, it is. When am I gonna get a Bahaj? In 2027. Will we complete building this API in this session? That's the plan. We're going to try to, but if you can tell, right, it's kind of a little bit of a lot. So we might not get to all of it, like every single functionality, but we're at least going to do the basics during this session. Expect a call from me in 2027. You got it. Okay. So I'm going to keep going back to explaining, because it doesn't seem like anybody has any questions about, what I've said so far. So you can imagine that if we have classes, because it's an object-oriented program, we have a cause, we have users, we have nonprofits, right? And when you think about a class cause, we're thinking maybe we could have like a hash map where it's like the key is the cause object, but then the value is the list of nonprofit objects. And in a cause object, we have like the name, we have maybe in the future, like number of likes, right? It could have multiple different things, but ultimately we just have like a cause map that is hosting all of this information and connecting them to each other. And then for like a user, we're thinking of having like user type, so we can know if somebody's an admin or they're just a regular person. And then we're also thinking of having like the user's name, user's location, etc. And then we're thinking of having like a class for nonprofits, and that's going to have like all the details of the nonprofit, right? So like status, website link, photos, description, donation link, like all of these things that are necessary. And then if we put all that together and we use Spring Boot to build it, and we probably not in this session, we have like a SQL database to store that information, then we'd be able to use Postman to send requests to test it, and maybe even have some unit tests, and we're going to be done with our API. So that's the basic idea of what we went over yesterday, just like a recap of it. If nobody has any questions about this, we're gonna, this is not relevant, but we're gonna take, I'm gonna delete this, by the way. Okay, cool. Now that that's deleted, we're gonna go ahead and start building this. Let me check if there are no questions from anybody. Only 1,394 days until 2027. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Start counting down. Okay. So, what we're going to do is let's start with configuring our IDE and figuring out where we're going to write code. So, somebody asked a question about what software we're going to need. If you have your own IDE that you use already that has Java 8 at least on it, go ahead and do that. If you don't have an IDE installed with Java 8 on it, I'm actually going to be walking you through using like maybe GitHub Codespace, because I'm not planning on using my IDE as well. I'm planning on using GitHub Codespace. So that's what I think we're going to do. So again, let me recap. If you don't have an IDE with Java 8 on it, just follow my instructions. If you do have an IDE without Java 8 on it, or with Java 8 on it, then wait for me to tell you what to do for us to get the Spring Boot package, like the starter project from the website. And then we will use that. But let's just start with getting our IDE set up. And then this is a countdown. Oh my goodness. This is very funny. This is hilarious. Okay. So let's go to github.com. And we're going to sign in. And let me just get my code. Okay, so let's go here and let's go see what this is. Perfect. So if you don't already have, you can literally just go into, oh, why is this? Welcome to the Visual Studio. I don't really want to read the release notes, but let's see what we have from here. So this is just a regular, like, there isn't even a file. Like, it's truly very regular, like super duper regular. Let's see. When it says reload required, does it just mean it needs me to? But yeah, there's literally no code. Like, it's just an empty. Okay, well now there is, but like this is not relevant. I'll share, but basically my point is I finished the first step. I have a place and a thing with, with code. Like, I have somewhere to write code. So, and I have Java 8. So let's see what other people, if anybody has any questions so far. I had to quit Blahaj to join Tech Wizards for this Global Hack Week. That's funny. What do we have to select from blank React and Jupyter? What do you mean? Can you clarify your question? Are you asking like, yeah, what are you asking actually? Yeah, good night. Thank you for joining. Okay, clarify your question for me so I understand what you're saying. But basically, my point is I have an IDE now where I can be able to write code and I can, write what I want to write. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the link to, so Spring Boot starter parent. Oh, not here though. No. Let's see. Perfect. So I'm going to put the link for this inside of here. I'm going to do links. So when you go here, what you're going to do is, it doesn't really matter what you use. If you choose Maven or if you choose, I think just stick to Java for sure. You can name it whatever. You can say like dot, what is it called? It's called social good. And then we can just do like social good. Social good API. And we could just do Java 8, just so we're not confused about anything. And if you click on generate, it should give you a jar file, and you can be able to like add that, right? So if you click on save, and then social good, or even just Finder. Oh, I don't think you can see that's part of my screen. I don't think so. Yeah, you can't see that I'm opening up Finder. But what I'm doing is the jar file that it just gave me to download, I'm opening it up and I'm unzipping it. And so now that I have that, I have it saved, right? So I'm going to go back to maybe even here, maybe. And I'm going to do like, I want to see if I can upload something new. Can I upload? Just ignore this part so I can start afresh. Okay, that was not a good commit, by the way, but it's okay. So, but I'm looking for something. I'm trying to show you all that, like, okay, maybe not. But either way, the point is that you should, oh, there it is. New folder. There it is. Okay, so I think you should literally just be able to like collapse, refresh. You should be able to literally just go to like here and okay. I'm trying to, so let's see, index a file up to a, I don't know what that means. So I'm going to go back. Okay, but either way, the point is, if you just have this, you should be able to add it here, right? It should be pretty self-explanatory. So, but this is going to be exactly what you have is what I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, see if there are any questions. Good night. Are you working on the Spring framework? Yes, we're using Spring Boot to build our API. In CodeSpace, where do we have to create file? So where do we have to create the file? So I would actually recommend that we do something like this. Let's go to Spring, or even just GitHub, actually. Let me go to github.com. If I go here. Oh, not even here, not here. Even maybe here. Let's see. I'm trying to find, Oh, because I got it from somewhere. I'm trying to find where I got my code from. Let's see. Where Spring Boot Java Library API. Well, we're not using this example. We're using is it here maybe? Aha. Here it is. This is it right here. Okay, I'm gonna put the link to this inside of our right here. So you can either go to here and download like what we did literally 15 minutes ago, where you have like your code and it gives you a jar file, if you remember, right? Or, and then download it, put it into your IDE that you're using. Or if you go here and you see where it says go to repo, if you click on that, and if you just click on like, literally if you do like a dot, like just do like, I don't want to press it because I don't want to. Okay, fine, I will. Literally just a period. That's it. Like you just put the period and it opens up an IDE. Like it's actually kind of crazy. I'm telling you, I know I'm a software engineer and I should be used to this, but like it's still mind blowing to me. So literally just do that and then you will have the code that they have. So again, you're in this go to repo dot and it takes you into an IDE where you can edit stuff. But I already have an IDE and I already have what I want. So I'm just going to use this to write my code. So hopefully that makes sense and that you follow that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue. So I think what maybe we could do is, I think I'm going to do a brand new one because this is a little bit confusing, I feel like. So let's close this and let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go to repo. And then we're going to press dot. And now we have like basically all of this work, right? That like has already been done for like the basics and the foundation of what we want to do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get started. But before we do that, we're going to change our branch. So if I want to create a new branch, and I just want to like maybe do, I don't know if it would let you create a new branch. If I did like, actually maybe here, let's see. This is code space, extensions, run and debug. This is source control. So I want to see if I can create a branch. There we go, create a branch. Okay, so I can't create a branch on this repository, which I figured. So maybe I could be able to clone this. So let's go back here and then let's make a fork. So I'm trying to remember. Oh, there you go. So let's see. I just click on fork right here, fork. And we're just going to call it, what is it called again? Social good app. And then, the owner is myself. And then create the fork. So there you go. So I've created the fork. And now we have something, right? And it's going to take a few seconds, but we're going to have it soon. And then I'm just going to literally press period. And then I'm going to create a branch. So I'm going to create a new branch and we're going to call it just like develop. And then switch to new branch. Cool. So now I'm ready to start writing code. So let me check that you all are also on the same page. Sorry, I missed it. Can you explain again? I'm not sure when 7:27. Okay, so about 3 minutes ago. Okay, I'm going to explain it one more time for both of you. So you go here. Do you see where we have this right here? You click on this. When you go here, do you see where it says go to repo right here? You're going to click on this right here where it says fork. I'm not going to do that because I already have a fork of it. So you see, fork already exists. And then I'm going to go to my fork of it. So if I want to go to my fork of it is right here. And literally all you have to just press the period button. Like, I think as long as you're in a browser, I don't think it's just me that this works for. Like, I hope somebody will be able to confirm for me. But you literally just press the period button on, or like the full stop. What is another synonym? Synonyms for full stop, punctuation, period, full stop, just full points, whatever you want to call it. Literally just press it inside of GitHub and it will open this right here for you. And so when it does, we're going to create a new branch just as good practice. And if you click right here, it'll let you create a new branch, and I just called it develop. And that's what I'm going to be using to write my code. So it was like maybe 5 steps. It's not just you, it works. Awesome. Perfect. But yeah, literally just the period button and it opens it up for you. It's very convenient and super easy. Maybe I'll wait like maybe 2 minutes to see if anybody has any issues with any of the steps I mentioned. Like maybe you're forking and it's not working, or like you are trying to get into code space and it's not working, or like you try to create a branch and it's not working. Let me know. If not, I will move on. But let's wait like maybe 2 minutes. Let's see if maybe it's just in case. Okay, so creating the new branch is not working for me. Did you create a fork? Because if you created a new branch from directly from this, like this repo that they have here, right here, it's not going to let you because, it's their repo. You have to create a fork first. So did you create a fork first? That is my question for you. So you created a fork and you went to here and you created a new branch and it's not letting you? Like you just do like develop or something, or like, let's see, develop 2. Oh. How did I create the first one? Oh, I went here. I went to source control and I did branch and I did create branch. And I did, let's see, develop 2. There we go. So you have to go to right here, source control, and then click on this, and then click on branch, and then create branch. All right. Any other questions? How to create a new branch after creating the fork. I'm going to assume that you just saw what I just did. That's what I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume that you literally just saw me do what I just did, and that maybe your comment came before I just did what I just did and said. But if it did not, and you want me to explain to me again, just type in the chat and I will. Okay, I'm going to assume that you did see what I just did, right? Where like I went to source control, like literally what I just did to create develop 2. Hopefully you saw that. Okay. So now that that is done and we are set up and we're ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and start writing some code. So we're going to be working off of this complete folder right here. That's what we're going to be using. And you see how it's like application, source, main, Java, demo application.java, and it has all of this information. So I'm going to walk you through what a lot of these things mean. So this is like the main application. If you can imagine like the main thing that starts your code, right? Mm-hmm. Excuse me, like the home page of your website, or like just imagine something that is like the start of it all. And what this is basically doing is it's like telling you what path you can go to and how you can access certain things. So, for example, I want to show you something that maybe will be here. I'm not sure. Maybe not resources. Maybe library, source, main. Aha. So This right here, this is basically like the main class of it. But then this is the actual controller. This is what is telling you, like, if you are familiar with APIs in terms of like even in another language, when you're saying like go to this endpoint, like even just this, for example, right? If we're thinking about an API, if we're just thinking about an API, you think about like github.dev, that's the endpoint, right? That's like where we're trying to go to. But then you see how like there's a forward slash and then there's like different queries that, or not even queries, different things that follow it. You can imagine that that's what the controller is doing. And I know it might be a little bit tricky to understand right now, but maybe like the more you work on it, the more it'll like start to click. But just think of it as like what you're telling the code to do if it goes to a certain place. So for example, if we did like dash slash, that would be home, right? Like there's nothing outside of it. There's no like, it's just github.dev forward slash. There is no query in front of it. There is no endpoint in front. There's nothing, which makes sense that it's literally home, right? But if we had another thing where basically it was like dash, dash Fazia. So like dash my first name and my last name, then that's basically saying, okay, when we go to that page, give me this information or do this certain thing. So that's why it's called a controller. It's because this is what is like routing things to different places. And if you can specify where you want something to show up as, or like under what endpoint or under what part of your website, you can really control a lot of these things. So I think the two things that you should be mindful of when you're thinking about a Java API for this specific function that we want to do is think about this, which is your controller, and then think about this, which is basically just like the basic Java class, that you have, right? Like it has like, the classes, and it has like just like the methods that you need. And you can have multiple of these really, I'm pretty sure. And you can use that to basically kind of form the backbone of your code. So like the object-oriented property stuff. This is just a layer. This is literally just a layer, just a controller that's sitting on there and calling these messages. You see, literally my service dot message. It's going inside of here and it's saying, call this. Like it's literally just making calls to the service layer. This is a controller layer, super duper, like just controlling things. It's not really doing anything significant or complex. So that's the basic idea of it. Let me see, what else do I want to show you here that's important to know? Again, we're still under the complete folder. We can go to the properties file, and this is basically just like dependency injection, which we can talk about that later in a second. But it's just like, just things that like are inserting values for you in your code. But it's not that important to learn about right now. This is Gradle, which is for like building it, but again, we don't necessarily need to worry about that right now as well. This is your applications.property file, which is just like basically letting it know like what you have that's specific to your application. So if you remember from here, right, do you see how like configuration properties service, but that's not even what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like, this is message right here, right? But do you see how like service.message is hello world, and it's able to know that this is what it wants to print out because it's literally called service.message. So like you see how like this is service, you see how it says configuration property service and then dot the name of the variable, which is message, and that is enough to let it know what to look for. So that's pretty cool. What else do I want to share in here that is like pretty important for you to know? Okay, let me see if there are any questions from people so far. I created fork. What should I do next? Create a new branch. Yes. Okay, so it doesn't look like anybody has any questions so far about like how APIs work and what I've been doing so far, which is good to know. So now we're just gonna spend the next 40 minutes really writing this code, and maybe we'll be able to have something that we can output, or just something that like will make sense and something that will work. So the one thing I want to do is I want to rename this folder, or maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll keep it. Okay, maybe I'll keep it. But I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, let's go back to our strategy. So let's go back to our code. Okay. So let's start with our class cause. That's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to do Control C. And I'm going to go back here. And we're going to, because this is going to be the service layer, right? So we're going to do new file. And we're going to call it cause.java. Okay. And so this is just me trying to kind of think through what we want to build so we can know how to write this in code. So we're just going to start with like a public class and just call it cause. And we know that like a cause is going to have a name. So we can just have like a private string name. So cause name. And then we know that we're going to have like a private hash map. And it's going to be of cause, of type cause, and it's going to be of type non-profits. And it's just going to be cause maps, or like all, maybe all causes equals new hash map. Okay, so now we basically did that. We have done this. So now let's do some getter and setter methods. So we're just going to do or constructor. Actually, let's start with the constructor. So we have this constructor, and all it's doing is just doing like this dot cause name equals cause name. And then if you can imagine that when somebody's creating a cause, so let's think about it for a second, right? So yeah, they pass in a cause to us, but they don't necessarily need to pass in, they don't need to pass in the entire nonprofits associated with it, right? They're just creating a cause. So we could just do a situation where it's like the cause name and then creating an empty hash map. Like that's literally it. Because if you think about it, right? For us, oh, it's actually going to be a list of type nonprofits. I forgot that part. Yeah, a list of type nonprofits and then cause objects. Cool. So in that case, what we're going to do is we would just do like list nonprofit nonprofits equals new array list. That's just of type nonprofit, right? And then we're gonna do all causes equals new hash map. And then it's gonna be just cause. So just of type cause. Because let me think about this. If it's a hash map, it's like keys and values, right? So what we're trying to say is oh, maybe a list of hash maps? Maybe a list of hash maps, right? Maybe a list of hash maps. So it's like, let me see, a list of hash maps. So it's going to be like hash map 1, hash map 2. And hash map 1 is just going to be like the key is going to be the cause name, or the cause object. So cause object, and then the value is going to be a list. So nonprofit 1, nonprofit 2, nonprofit 3, etc. Right, right. And then hash map 2 can be the same thing, right? Cause object 1, and then nonprofit 1, nonprofit 2. Does that make sense? And then it would be like one big list. Is that possible in Java? A list of hash maps of lists. Okay, maybe we'll come back to this part here. Maybe we'll come back to this and make it a to-do. So we'll come back here and figure this out later. Okay, so it sounds like you're still having problems with creating a new branch. So let me go ahead and let's kind of walk through this again. And I hope you're looking at the screen at this time, because I want to make sure that you get it right. Do you see right here, this little like thing that looks like it has arrows coming out of it? If you click on this, if you do this little 3 arrow right here and you do branch and you click on create branch, it's going to give you a pop-up. I don't want to do that because I don't want to lose all my changes. But if you click on create branch right there, you can enter what you want to create a branch, what you want to call it, and it'll switch to the new branch for you. Does that make sense? Did you catch that? Cool, awesome. So let's go back to our code. So we'll come back to this because this seems a little bit tricky. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. But for the most part, we have our class cause, correct? Correct. So let's go back to our code. Let's go back to our code and let's go ahead and create. We're gonna create a new. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Yes, okay. So we're gonna create a new file and we're gonna call it nonprofits. Okay, and then let me go back here to get our stuff that we need for nonprofits. And then we're going to go here. So it's going to be, make this a comment. And it's going to be public class, and it's going to be nonprofits. And so we know it's going to be, we're going to have private string NP name. We're going to have private string NP location. So like maybe city. We know we're going to do like private NP size. Actually, maybe that doesn't matter. Like, why do we care what size nonprofit is? I don't think that matters to our API. But we could do like private string. And we can do a private string donation link. So like NP donation link. And then we can do a private string NP description. And then private string NP photos. Well, I don't think that's necessary either, actually. Website. And then is active status. So that can just be like a Boolean. Is active. And then nonprofit ID, which is something somebody had mentioned earlier. So maybe like it could be a integer, int, nonprofit ID. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go ahead and create our constructor. that's going to let us initialize these things. So you create a nonprofit and you're like, oh, what are the things I need? You're going to need MP name. You're going to need MP city. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I need that. You're going to need this. You're going to need MP description. You're going to need MP website. String is active. And then int MP ID. Okay. So let's just make this a little bit easier for us to read. So that we can actually okay. All right. So if you can imagine that when you create a nonprofit, it should just be as simple as this.mp name is equal to mp name. This.mp city should be equal to mp city. This.np donation link should be equal to donation link. This.np description should be equal to np description. And then this dot is active should be equal to is active. And then this dot np ID should be equal to np ID. Okay, so we're done with that. So now the last thing we need to do is our user, and then we're going to be done with our service layer. But let me just check in with you all and see if there are any questions. Can you share the link to the Google Doc? Yeah, I'll share it again. So Control C, and then Control V. And then I'll leave this open. And then can you share the original code? So Sandra, if you're still here, I have a question for you. Were you here when we went over the links and stuff, like where we got the actual code from? Because your question makes it sound like you just joined, but I'm not sure if maybe you were just looking away or if you just forgot. Okay, so you did just join. Yeah. So let me explain again. You're going to go here. And you see where it says go to repo? You're going to click on this. You're going to create a fork. I can't do that because I already have a fork of this. Like that's what I'm writing my code on, so it won't let me. But when you create the fork and you go to it, you literally, if you already have an ID, you can add it to there. That's fine. If you want to write in code spaces like we're doing, so like GitHub on the website, on a browser, you can do that as well. But I literally kid you not, like literally like just a period, like just click on a period right now on this page right here and it'll open up this. Like that's all you need to do. If it's not a period, that's like, I don't know if you, maybe like English is not your first language, a full point, full stop, whatever you can, like literally that like the dot on your keyboard. If you just click on it right there, it's going to take you into like no command, just dot. While you're on this page, it'll take you there. And then once you are done with that, then you should have the original code. We are a little bit much further ahead, so I don't know if you would be able to like, and I'm not committing yet because I'm not done, but yeah, at least you're able to like kind of start. We've made changes to cause.java and we made changes to nonprofit.java. And yeah, so hopefully that kind of caught you up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to leave this open again for the Google Doc in case anybody's looking for it. Okay, so where was I? I'm trying to remember where I was before I was talking about that. Oh yeah, so I finished nonprofit.java, so now we're gonna do user. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this. And it's gonna be new file, and we're gonna call it user.java. And then we're gonna start a new class. Okay. Cool. So we're gonna make this like this. And so if we think about the fields that you would need for a specific user on this API, sorry, I'm just stretching. Okay. So if you're thinking about the users that you would possibly create on this, in this class, it would be right here. So it would be user type, so private string, user type, and then private string, it'll be user name, private string, it'll be user city, and maybe we could use that to, figure out how to make the API maybe correlate people's cities with causes or something, but we can think about that later. And so if we go back to this original thing right here, right, where ideally all causes, it's like a list of hash maps, right? Technically, if a user is able to like add stuff or like things, maybe, oh my God, I just thought about this. Instead of having to do this, we could just do like a list, period. Just a list of nonprofits associated with a cause. So like, let me write that in English. A list of nonprofit associated with cause object. So instead of having, and then we could just add all of the lists. So we don't even need the hash map situation. We just have a list, like an underlying list. So if you think about it, right, it's like a list of nonprofit objects. And all we're doing is we're just saying like cause dot, set nonprofit or something. So maybe we do like, this cause that we have just created right here. We would just do cause or like set nonprofit and then pass in this list and pass in the object maybe. And what it would do is it would literally just like, I got to come back to this problem. This problem keeps stumping me. I'm not sure how we're going to do it, to be honest. Okay, let me keep writing my code. So I don't know how we're going to do the user's like map, like things that they've liked. Are we going to track it by causes or are we going to track it by nonprofits? Or like, maybe we could just have like favorite causes and favorite nonprofits. Maybe they don't have to be together. That could work too, actually. That could also work. So like private list of causes, and it's just like fave causes. And then private list of nonprofit, fave non-profits. And then sorry, I'm thinking. We could still have the constructor, right? So it'd still be like public user. And if we're creating a user, it would be like string user type. And then string user name. And then string user city, right? And that's just what you have, right? And so what we do is we could do like a this dot user type will be equal to user type, and then this dot username will be equal to user name. This dot user city will be equal to user city. And then we should probably have like for the type, maybe some sort of validation. So it's kind of like before we set this, we could say like validate or is valid, or maybe even just like, let's do this. If user type dot equals admin, yeah, or not, or yeah, if it's not equal to admin, or user type is not equals to user, then we know that we're just going to like user type is going to have to be null or something like that, like because we're trying to validate, trying to make sure that it actually works, because we could throw an exception. Maybe come back to this, maybe throw an exception. Okay. And then I think that's it for the user, right? We should have a method that's like, I guess it would just be adding it, right? It'd be favecauses.update or something like that. Okay, never mind then. Never mind. I can just add it to the back of the list. Okay. So this looks like it makes sense to me. We're going to come back to some problems here. So how do we track effectively? I guess, okay, we kind of did that here. Fave causes and fave nonprofits. Okay, never mind. Ooh. Okay. So I'm feeling good about this so far. It seems like we finished our classes. So now we can go ahead back to our controller and we can actually go ahead and kind of work on these post requests and get requests. But in the meantime, before I move on, let me check in with you all. Let's see if there are any new comments. Can you show cause.java when you have a chance? Okay, here we go. Cause is essentially a bucket for the nonprofits. Yes, and I think that's what I'm kind of struggling to think through, right? Because it's like we want to keep track of all the causes, correct? If we want, and we could have just like in the future, yeah, we could have like a SQL table, right? Where it's just like a table that's just called causes, and it would just have like column cause, and then like maybe nonprofit, like a list or something like that that could like, you know, that has everything. But right now we're not going to be having a SQL database in the MVP, right? So we need to kind of think outside the box. So then my next thing was like, okay, maybe we could have like a list of hash maps. And that's why you see what I have on the screen there, where it's like hash map 1, hash map 2, and it connects it that way. So maybe that's what we could do, like a list of just like hash map And then inside of the hash map, it's the key is a cause object, but then inside of in the value, it's a list of values. So that just seems like it would be really complicated for no reason, but maybe we have no alternative. But to answer your question, yeah, cause is essentially a bucket for the nonprofits, but we need to think about how to represent that data. And I think that's what I'm kind of stumped on. Can you do a join table to connect the causes to nonprofits and users? So I think we definitely can. Maybe you can explain a little bit more in detail. Would we need like a SQL database to be able to do that? Because you can imagine like we have a table of data, then we do, if we're going to have a join table, we need like a SQL database. Is that going to be what you have in mind, having a SQL database and having like a join table to connect both of them? Or do you mean something else? No need to overcomplicate it. Wait, I don't know what you're responding to because there's always a lag in the chat. Are you saying like no need to overcomplicate it and then use a join table by getting a SQL database? Or are you saying like no need to overcomplicate it with a list of hash maps with a list of values? I like the idea of working with the hash maps because we can. Right, but you understand what I mean? Like I feel like maybe that could work. Maybe it's like we start with a list of values, right? We have a list of nonprofits. Anytime somebody's adding something, we add that, right? And then inside of that list of list of values, we connect it to a cause. So it's like a put, right? We put the cause and then we put the list. Okay. And then once we have put that inside of one hash map, we can just append it to the list. Okay, that could work. That could work. But then that means we can't maintain value, can we? So like, for example, if we ever want to be like, we want to update a nonprofit under a cause, how would we be able to, I guess we could just do cause object dot get. There we go. We could do like a dot get, or not even a, maybe like a, because if we have that cause object, we should be able to just do like a, how do we get the list of values associated with it? Oh, I think hash maps has, let me see. Hash map get value from key. I think you can do that in Java. I think so. Yes. So if we do a dot get, we should be able to, okay, I think this is starting to make sense to me. So if we do a dot get, we can get this list right here, and then we can literally like manipulate it, right? We can either delete, add, delete or add, and then we can change, like, you know what I mean? Like not put, but like, I guess just update it, like maybe dot put or something, and it would know like if that, like just swap it. Okay, that could work. Okay, let me go back to the comments. No need to overcomplicate it with the join table. I see. Yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe the hash map of causes. Okay, so hash map of causes. So the list of hash maps of causes to nonprofits should be extracted into a higher component rather than within a cause object. Rather than within a cause object. Maybe like a user profile. What does that mean? Rather than a cause object. Maybe like a user profile. So then we would have the list of hash maps of values inside of the user profile class? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying, I'm a little bit confused. Since they're associated with a user. Okay, so it sounds like what you're saying is that what I have here, where it's like a list of nonprofits associated with cause object, all of that, like the list of hash maps of lists, you're saying I should just move it to the user class? Is that what you're saying? But then if I move it to the user class, even if it's associated with a user, how is that helping me? Because then I still can't track all causes, right? Because if you think about it as an API that is giving somebody data that they need, if I can't track every single cause that exists and it's associated with a user, then I can't be able to collate everything. No? Like, am I making sense? Or is this just not, is only making sense in my head? I'm not sure. I think the hash maps give the best options for finding the data. I think so too, especially because we have like the basic, like get, put, etc. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I'm feeling good about this. Let's implement this part that we just talked through a few minutes ago. So let me write it down in English. What did we literally just say? We said, okay, I'm going to need you to remind me. We said, first of all, list of non-profits, correct? Is going to be value. And then the key is going to be cause object key, right? And then that's going to be a hash map together, right? List of all causes, correct? And then add hash map into list of all causes. Is that right? Is that what we just talked about? List of nonprofits, value, cause, object, key, list of all causes, add hash map into all causes. Okay. You're making sense. That's why I was saying that the join table could perform a many to many, but not sure that is the most efficient. Okay, I'm glad that it's making sense though. I'm happy about that. What is this emoji? Oh, I guess building, because they have a spanner or like a tool. Okay, so I'm gonna assume is what I said. Hopefully that's exactly what I said. So now let's write it in code. So we have a list of all causes, which is like a hash map. Let's not start here. Let's start somewhere else. Let's start with like list of nonprofits, right? Let's start there. So we have private list of nonprofits. So list of type nonprofit, NPs. Cool. We have our list of NPs, right? Right. So then we'll just transfer this into our constructor. So let's just do this. NPs equals new array list. Done. Boom. Then we have our cause object. That's just a regular key, right? So like, just a cause object, which I don't know how we're going to do it because technically we're creating it, but we'll figure that out. And then we have the list of every single cause. Oh. So list of every single cause is going to be a hash map. Like it's going to be a list of hash maps. So hash map of type cause and of list non-profits. And this is going to be all causes. Hopefully that makes sense. And then we're just going to do all causes equals new And then that seems like it makes sense to me. So we don't need this, and maybe we don't need this as well. Yeah, this feels like it makes sense to me. I feel like this kind of encapsulated everything we wanted to do. So let's kind of work on some updating methods. So let's say, for example, we want to add stuff, right? So let's say, for example, you say, oh, I want to add nonprofit, right? You would pass us a nonprofit object, but we need a cause, right? So you're going to pass us a cause object. Excuse me. As well, right? I'm going to get some water. Okay. So if we want to add, oh, and it's just going to just not return anything. If we want to add something to the nonprofit, then what we can do is we can say like, so they're trying to update the hash map, right? So we just need to say, okay, list of nonprofit. So all NPs is going to be equal to all causes dot get, right? Because it's like a, well, that's a little bit tricky. In a list, we don't know. Like there's no index. Does that make sense? Ooh, like you can't, this is interesting. Like in a list, you can't say like, I guess what I was trying to do with this method was like an update nonprofit. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, we have a new one to add to the list. But okay, let me repeat my problem. I'm a little bit stumped because with a list, you can't say like get me number, like we don't know if it's number 1 or number 2, right? Because it just gives us a cause. Like unless we do, but that's gonna be so expensive. That's gonna be like really time consuming. What if we did like for, you know, INT index in, or not, for INT index equals 0, I index is less than or equal to all dot size, and then index plus plus. If we did something like that, right, that's going to be tricky. That's going to be so expensive because if we have that, we can just do like all causes dot get index. But come on, worst case scenario, it's literally going to go through the entire thing. And I feel like we can do it in half. I don't know how though. We should have to like implement some algorithm. Okay, let me check on the comments. Let's see what people are saying. I just checked in. I'll see the recording later on. Thank you for joining. But you can still search the list name of the cause. How? How can you do that? Or am I not thinking about lists correctly? Like, how can you, like, in a way that's like not literally going through the entire thing to see if it's equal to it? Like, how can we know? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of a little bit. Because then we could introduce another hash map. But I feel like at this point, like a hash map of a list just sounds a little bit, it sounds a little bit annoying. Oh my God, you said it too, a hash map. Oh my God. Unless you maintained another map to hash on by key, I think you have to iterate. You really think we can't do better than that? Like better than O of N? Come on. Come on. Oh my God. Not another hash map. You're gonna make me choke. We're gonna have a hash map of a hash map of list of hash map of hash. Oh my god. Okay, wait. You know what? For now, let's do it the O of N way. Let's do it the O of N way. Let's just do it the way I'm doing it. And you know what? It would be a nice to have. If you're implement this or buildings upon this, figure out how to make this a little bit, less time consuming. Okay, so we get this right here, right? All cause, and we know we have this list. So now, oh my god, it could be n square. It literally is going to be n square because it's like not only going through this list, but it's going to go through the next list. Oh my god. Oh, actually, not really. Actually, not really. It's not going to be like that, I don't think. So what is inside of this all causes? Oh, it's a hash map. Okay. So we're going to do hash map. Actually, I'm just going to do all causes.get. So we know it's a hash map. So we're going to work on this right here. It's going to give us, oh, we want to check if, ooh, this is going to be very time consuming because we're trying to say, okay, you know what? Add XY nonprofit to this cause. So we're already inside of all causes, right? The next level is going into the hash map and finding something that is equal to the key. So if we have that right there, now we need to say like all causes dot get index dot get we need a key. We need a key because the key is a cause, right? So I think we're gonna need another. I think we're gonna need another for loop. Oh, I can't imagine. This is actually really disgusting, right? We're gonna need another for loop. We're gonna have to do like a for cause. Actually, can you iterate through a hash map? Oh, we can do like a set loop. I will say though, I don't really understand how dot entry set works. Maybe today's the day I learn. Oh, our time is almost up. Okay, let me think. What is the most important thing for us to get through today? Well, technically, we can't make any of these calls, right? Until we have the methods. So let's see what we can get done. Let me check on the comments, by the way. Oh my god. So many questions. Okay. Instead of a list of hash maps, would a hash map of lists be better? Let me think about that. Would a hash map, so hash map all causes, is the key going to be, then what's the val? I'm confused. Validate if it contains that key. If it contains that key. Yeah, so we need a for loop, right? We need a for loop to iterate through the hash map to see if it contains like who has that key, right? Or not who has that key. Like we need that key from them because we don't know what the key is until we, yeah, because remember, we're iterating through a list first. It's giving us, ooh, sorry, ooh. Can you still hear me? Okay, I'm not sure what happened right there. Okay, let me go back to share my screen again. Okay, so I'm trying to. Oof, I missed it. I missed all of it. I think because I was trying to read through the comments. I thought some of the things where you're saying were really interesting. The last one I saw was where I think somebody was like, you just need hash map, cause, and list, but that's not true. That's not true. Remember, because we want to keep track of all the hash maps, right? Anyway, what does this person say? So this person says to validate if a key exists in a map, you can use the dot contains key. There we go. That's what I was trying to think of. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. Okay, perfect. So if we do so instead, exactly. So it's going to be dot contains key. And then we're going to pass in cause. So we're going to do cause dot to string, right? Or I guess it's an object. So we can just do cause. And it should be able to compare them both. And so now, if we know that that's what it is, so maybe we can do like an if statement. Yeah, that was what I was trying to remember. And I was looking through like, okay, how do you iterate through this? Okay. So we're going to say if it contains that cause we're looking for, then if it contains that cause we're looking for, then we can update the nonprofit. So how do we do that? So now we just need to say, if it has it, then we need to update the nonprofit, update the list of nonprofits, right? So just append it. So we're just gonna do like a all causes dot get index dot get cause dot put. No, not dot put, not dot put. No. We're trying to get that list of nonprofits. So we need to like dot add. No, yeah, dot get dot add this nonprofit we've been given. So NP, literally. That's what we need to do. Right? Except actually this might not work because I don't think that's how dot get works for hash maps. We need to do like a dot put. So we need to do like a list nonprofit temp equals all causes dot get, and then this time we're going to do temp dot add. Yes, exactly. And then after we add it, then we're going to do all causes dot put cause temp. Perfect. That's what I was trying to, I was missing. This is still definitely very time consuming. This is absolutely very expensive, but it's okay. Okay. So we have come to the end of the session, but this was very intellectually stimulating. This was interesting. I really feel like I had fun. Let me commit my changes so that so like first created skeleton and some methods. Cool. So now we've committed and pushed. I'm going to copy this. So if you want to see it for yourself and you want to have access to this, I'm going to put this. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oops. Sorry. Oh, you probably couldn't see any of that. Oof, I'm so sorry. Okay. That's going to be where the code is. Let me go back to sharing this so you could see what I just did. But this is what I just did. And I'm just going to put this link right here so you can be able to see it. But the hash map will contain keys of all the causes. Maybe I'm just not understanding. The hash map will contain keys of all of the causes. I'm confused. Maybe that's my sign. That's my sign that it's time for me to leave. But thank you. Thank you for joining me this evening. This was really fun. I feel like I really exercised my brain tonight. I thought a lot, and I don't know how we're going to solve this problem, but if any of you ever build on top of this, let me know. Send me a message. Let me remind you again to check in if you, so Control C and put this right here. You do not see the link. Awesome. Oh no. Oh, can you not? Like, you can't see this right here on my screen? Like literally github.com/Fazia-social good. Uh-oh. I don't know why. That's weird. Okay, you see it now. Next time, use some. Do you know how to use IntelliSense in CodeSpace? Maybe you could teach me. I don't know how to do it because I don't use CodeSpace. I use a regular IDE. All right, cool. Don't forget to check in if you didn't already check in. This was really fun. Thank you all so much for joining me. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I will leave you and tell you good night. And have fun. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for joining and participating. I felt like we kind of thought through a lot of problems tonight. So thank you. All right, y'all. If there are no more comments or concerns, I'm going to end this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I will tell everybody good night. Bye.